What's up, everybody? This is Nate Deer, one third of the supergroup that is GamesMusicLyfe. Um, I know I said I wouldn't do this, but I did it. I went ahead and picked up Madden. I figured I'd give my review, what I thought of the game. I'm only about 3 games in, so I would say maybe about an hour and a half. Just got this little footage up right now of my ultimate team, or MUT is what they call it. I have no idea what I'm doing in this mode, but it seems pretty interesting. I mean, you pretty much get packs and you get to 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 get players from different specialty items that you can do and play in the game. You actually get to upgrade your team, so it's like you have a custom team, custom to your tailor-made ways of how you like to do things. So I figured I'd try it out, and this is just a little bit of footage while I talk about the review of what I thought about the game so far. I got home late today, and I really was like, you know what? I didn't get Madden last year, so and I was a huge Madden fan. I mean, I haven't been a fan of Madden on the next gen systems at all. So I was conditioned just like everybody else who's a big football fan. You're conditioned to buy Madden every year, and I did in the past. Last year was the first year I kind of exercised my right with my dollar and did not buy the game last year. But this year was the year when I just said, you know what, I thought I wasn't gonna buy it again. Like we talked about on the podcast, I really wasn't gonna do it. We pretty much all had a good firm stance of we weren't gonna buy the game because it just has been the same game. But one thing I will say, after playing the game about, like I said, about 3 games in, and about going through the practice modes and kind of just looking at the different things that has been, and kind of just looking, I just got into the practice mode and just try to see what how it was on this year's game. And I will say, man, they did all right this year. EA kind of went to the drawing board, and they revamped the franchise mode, which was a big mode for me and my friends. We actually did a franchise every year, like I said, up until last year because I didn't get the game. But they, the one thing I will say though, the presentation's good this year. It's not really too over the top. Like in the past, it's kind of like they put a lot into the presentation, and instead of focusing on gameplay, because the one thing about the PS2 versions and the last gen, well, this is current gen, well, last gen, which was the 360 version, wasn't really good either. I really didn't care for that one. Going all the way back to the PlayStation 2 was the last version. I think Madden 2005 was the last one I really could say was a pretty, like, very good, almost near perfect product. That's the one that had Ray Lewis on the cover. Um, but this year they really got the just they took away the stuff last year, which was the animation catching, and everybody had the crazy catching you can do last year, one handed and everything. I guess they saw Odell Beckham do it one time and figured everybody can do it. But this year they did take that out. Now, one thing I will say though, my gripe with that, I'm gonna start with the pros. The pros in this year's game, I would say so far, like I said, just the way, the responsiveness from when you use your controller, you can juke. It's really focused on the running back. I'm a run heavy person, whereas before it was like if you couldn't, you just passed, you just chucked the ball around. The defense was kind of null and void. You couldn't stop anybody. Whereas now it feels like it's a lot of the chess matches back. It feels like you can actually counter everything that someone can do. Now, of course, there are going to be some players who are just going to jump out the gym and just make unbelievable catches. But guess what? That kind of happens in real life. So, I can accept that one or take that one on the chin, so to speak. Um, Now, also, pros to go along with that. The franchise mode is revamped. It's a lot. It's more in depth, so you can actually, like with me and my friends, it's 4 of us total. So we'll all pick a team in the NFC East, and we'll just play through the franchise. And you play against a computer. You can do other things. And what I like about it now is like whatever you do is dictated on how your player is going to progress. So how good you do, how you get into your practice mode, how you um, get into your whole way of playing the game, your chemistry, and how you have your team going, and that would actually dictate how good your guys progress. Whereas in the past, like in Madden, on not last year, 'cause I didn't play that one, but the year before that, no matter what you did, those players were going to progress at the speed that the computer rendered that it was going to do, which I didn't like. Whereas on the PS2 version, like I was saying before, you actually, how good you did depending on how much your guys will go up in awareness and their overall. So I like that they did that on this year's game. It is another pro that I do like also is that the EA is actually updating the commentary. Now it might sound like something that's minuscule, might sound like something that's minimal, but when you play the game, when I started off the game, and you actually go through a first, like it's the Rams versus the Redskins, and you go through, and then the commentator actually talks about how Jared Goff, who's a rookie quarterback for the Rams, took a big hit in week 1 of the preseason. And I remember watching that game and seeing him take that hit, and actually on Hard Knocks, I saw it as well. So it's like just that alone, and I read up on it after the fact, and what EA says they're going to have the same commentators come in and update every week on things. So they even showed on when the Ravens were playing a game, they talked about how they stopped the game to watch Michael Phelps win when he was in the Olympics. So I like that. Another thing I like too that's kind of big that I like on this year's game is the ticker at the bottom of the screen. You're playing a game in your franchise mode or even an exhibition game. It's not here on MUT, in the video we're seeing right here, but it's actually a ticker of the game. So it kind of gives like a real life feel to the game, like you're actually in the actual, like watching a real game, and I like that as well. So I really, like I said, just early. I'm only about 3 games in. I think it's a game that I'm gonna try to get Kevin and try to get Jared to get it, so we can definitely play a little bit more. That's gonna be a hard sell, but definitely gonna take a little bit more convincing to get them on board. But I do think that me and my friends, we're going to actually play our franchise and pick it up like we used to before, because I really think that this game, they did well this year. I feel like it's a chess match. You can actually play defense against teams. You can run the ball, and it's not just a chuck fest. It's more like a chess match. Now, my cons. The cons that I found in the game that maybe it's too early in the game. I've read on a couple forums that a lot of people have had the same issues. I thought it was just me. And I thought it was maybe because I played exhibition games with the Eagles. I thought it was maybe just the Eagles receivers, but they drop a lot of balls. When you're jostling for the ball, like you'll throw it in the pocket, they'll catch it, and then they'll just get it wrestled away from them. And I thought that maybe it was just, like I said, the Eagles, because the Eagles don't have a good receiving core this year, and I'm a big Eagles fan, so it's going to be a headache, I think. But when I started playing I played with another team, and I played with Green Bay and Jordy Nelson, and they dropped a lot of balls as well. So it got a little frustrating with that. Like, you would think you made the catch, and then the animation would go through, and then the guy would, wrestle the ball away from him. So I didn't really like that aspect. And maybe that's something that'll come with some tweaking. Maybe it's something that'll just be, maybe it was the routes I was running. I don't know. But, my cons on the game are really minuscule compared to what I really like about the game. Because, we've went to E3 the last 2 years, and last year the Madden booth was so empty. They had a huge booth, there was nobody there, and I went in and played it, and the game was just frustrating, which kind of made me not want to get the game, but then also it let me know that the game was still the same. Now, when I came back from E3 this year, I said the same thing. The game was a lot the same. Me and Jared both looked at the game and played it, and we weren't, we kind of had given up on it, so it's kind of like they were behind the 8 ball anyway. But when I got back, and I said I'm gonna give it a shot this year because I do miss it. Football season happens, and I'm a big football fan, so I figured I'd pick up Madden and just kind of see what it was like this year. But when I started looking at the reviews and reading more about it, and I even had an early video earlier on our channel about what I liked about just what they were doing with the DBs and kind of how they were tweaking the AI of the defense. So, my cons would be, once again, just the drops. I will say some of the ratings right now are kind of off the charts, but the season hasn't even started yet. I mean, the 399s were Gronkowski. Luke Kuechly is like just a god out there, and the other one was JJ Watt. So they're valid 99s, I think, and then Von Miller was a 99 too. So they're valid 99s, but I do think that some of the players, they had Jay Cutler was a 97 tackle. I don't even know what the heck that means. But my cons are like they're small. I really don't have much, too many things that's bad to say about it. Now, my opinion might change later on in the year once I get more into the game and get into franchise mode and get a couple more games under my belt. But as of right now, I will say it's a pickup in my opinion. I think everyone should definitely give it a shot. If you're a Madden fan, pick it up. If you're a person who definitely just getting into the football games in Madden, I mean, considering it's the only game that we can actually play, but or can buy, I should say, because there's no other football games that have the NFL license. But I think Madden got lazy in the past with that, knowing that they were the only you know, the only team out here selling the drug, so to speak. But now, they figured they would just make a good product, and I think that's what they did this year. And they came back and got it pretty right. So, I will say though, like, $59.99, is it worth the money? I think so. I paid it. I think everybody should just pick it up. And if you're out there, you want to hit me up. It's Nahova. I don't know why it says Nahova 360 on here. I think that's my ultimate team name, but it's Nahova. But hit me up, man. This is Nadir, 1/3 of the super group that is Games Music Life. As always, drink more water, everybody. Peace.